were so-called Moors or so-called black people, right? It has been asserted that when the Moors were driven out, thousands took refuge in the south of France, who afterwards, abhorring the Roman Catholic persecutions, became Huguenots. They became the Huguenots. It didn't say they mixed with Huguenots. They are the ones who became known as the Huguenots in history. So whenever you see Huguenot, we just read John Pinter, right? John Pinter is a Huguenot. We're going to read more about that. Yes, he was a Moor. Yes, Huguenot, so-called black man. Yes, these people, German Palatines, Thomas Nast, right? He was also a so-called black man. I'm going to show you what Benjamin Franklin had to say about them. But it tells you right here in this book who the Huguenots are, right? They never tell you this part of their history or beginnings and origins. The word Huguenot just meant a confederation, a people coming together, comrades coming together as confederates. We're going to hear from Benjamin Franklin himself. We're in this book that he actually wrote, Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind, People of Countries, by Benjamin Franklin. This was written in 1755, this version right here in Boston, okay, 1755. So basically he's going over some points why it's bad, all this immigration, all these foreigners, as he's calling them, Germans, Protestants and all that, Palatines, why are they coming, these Huguenots, why are we bringing them into the country? He's literally complaining. Right here in 2023, Britain sent to America will have their places at home so soon supplied and increase so largely here. Why should the Palatine Moors, right, the Palatine, Thomas Nast, right, the guy who was drawing Santa Claus, he's a Palatine Moor. He suffered to swarm into our settlements. By herding together, established their languages and manners to include and abolish much of Pennsylvania, who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our magnifying them, Germanize. They will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. They're not even our, he's saying, they're not like me, they're dark complexion. He's to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. In 1750s, alright, very small, it's not me, it's
Under 6! Enemy in the area!
Watching anything that carries them before the 1800s.
I take care of my people!
So-called black or black, according to Benjamin Franklin. Source and notes right here. He's telling you that all of Africa was black, or Tawny, right? Tawny. Alright, so Tawny, shut up and drop, alright? We're in Webster's Dictionary, 1828. It says here, Tawny, adjective of a yellowish dark color. Yellowish dark color, like things tan, or persons who are sunburned, or as a tawny Moor, or Spaniard, the tawny sons of Numidia, the tawny lion, alright? Dark complexion person, right? So we got Africa's black or tawny, Asia chiefly tawny, so is Asia, America, inclusive of the newcomers wholly. So, not part, but all of it is what? Tawny, dark complexion. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russian, and Swedes are generally of what we call swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. Alright, as are the Germans also, okay? We're going to put swarthy right here.
Watch your fire!
Swarthy being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny, same thing. In warm climates, the complexion of any peanut person is swarthy or so-called black. The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthier than the French, Germans, and English, okay? Who are the Moors? The Spaniards and Italians. Who are the Spanish conquistadors? Who were the Spaniards that came here? Or people of dark complexion. Alright? The swarthy holes were charged in all our plains. Look at this, black, as the swarthy African. Swarthy means so-called black, okay? Benjamin Franklin is letting you know that the German Palatines were so-called black. The Huguenots were born to the same people, same people. So again, when they're telling us Santa's New York roots, who are these men, these so-called Dutch and German paladins? When you understand and respect of who they are, you see things a lot differently, right? You see things a lot differently. You can't just blame the so-called white man. It's not about complexion. So remember they were telling us in this website here that Belsnickel, right? We went to Belsnickel. He's the Christmas gift bringer. This is before Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas. They were already doing this in ancient Germany, in the Palatinate region. Alright, who are the Palatinates? Like Benjamin Franklin said, these are swarthy, so-called Negro people along the Rhine, the Saarland, and the Odenwald area of Baden-Württemberg. We've shown the facts crest there. The figures also preserved the Pennsylvania Dutch community. Alright, so-called Dutch and Brazilian German communities. Belsnickel is related to other companions of St. Nicholas in the folklore of German-speaking Europe. He may have been based on an older German myth of Neck Ruprecht, okay? It's a companion, listen to this, of St. Nicholas, as described in the folklore of Germany. He is the most popular gift-bringing character in Germany after St. Nicholas. And but it's virtually unknown outside the country,
I'm on your
alright?
six! Sandbags incoming!
But remember, this is also where you get Krampus, Swarty Pete, and a lot of the time, yeah, it's all good if the kids were behaved and good kids. But when they were naughty kids or bad kids, they would see a sinister companion, like Krampus, the devil, and even this character would be more sinister. And they would kidnap them and take them with them. Back to Spain, there's a story, back to Spain with the Moors. So, what next? Alright? A servant of St. Nicholas and a character from northern Germany. Unlike those figures, Belsnickel does not complement St. Nicholas but instead chooses alone. It combines both the threatening and the fitting aspects which in other traditions are divided between St. Nicholas and the companion figure. Alright, so that's Belsnickel. Then you got Father Christmas. We've mentioned this, Father Christmas, right? Again, Father Christmas is the traditional English name for the personification of Christmas. All right, remember, this has nothing to do with St. Nicholas. Although now known as a Christmas gift bringer and typically considered to be synonymous with Santa Claus, he was originally part of a much older and unrelated English folkloric tradition relating to St. Nicholas. Okay? The recognizably modern figure of the English Father Christmas developed in the late Victorian period, but Christmas had been personified for centuries before then. English personifications of Christmas were first recorded in the 15th century, with Father Christmas himself first appearing in the mid-17th century in the aftermath of the English Civil War. The Puritan-controlled English government had legislated to abolish Christmas, considering it papist, and had outlawed its traditional customs. Royalist political pamphleteers linking the old traditions with their cause adopted old Father Christmas as a symbol of the good and good cheer, right? Being merry, getting drunk. Following the Restoration in 1660, Father Christmas' profile declined. His character was maintained during the late 18th and 19th century by the Christmas folk plays, later known as mummers' plays, all right? That whole image of the wild man, right? This wild man that was a gift bringer and came around during the winter feast and these European pagan traditions. This had nothing to do with St. Nicholas. So now, you know, the wild man becomes St. Nicholas, right? The wild man, Father Christmas, they all become St. Nick. They are literally merged, and then you get the Santa Claus. You see the fur that he has around him comes from all this fur, the wild man that he used to have. So he used to carry the tree. This is all pagan stuff. We already know St. Nicholas was something else, all right? This is St. Nick. Again, the wild man prevailed. You see, the mistletoe, all that comes from before Santa Claus or St. Nick. That's from other things, you know? And as you guys can see here, he about to eat the swine, about to eat the pork. And it actually starts getting pretty dark, guys. If you actually start going into a lot of the origins of this, it does get pretty dark. This is Pierre Fortard. This is another version. So I want to show you guys. It says French for Father Whipper or Old Man Whipper is a character who will accompany St. Nicholas on his rounds during St. Nicholas Day, dispensing lumps of coal pagan characters that they merged with Saint Nicholas to create Santa Claus and all the old religion. I want to show you guys a video, alright, real quick. There's actually people talking about this a lot. They want to emphasize on the pagan stuff, right? And bring it out and show you that yeah, it goes back to pretty crazy stuff, some of this Christmas traditions.
Aber ich sage nur böse Leute.
Turn that shit off.
Ich sage nur böse Leute. Für die Braven, die dann auch mal nicht verlassen sind, die man noch verfolgt. Apparently it brings your baby good luck if in the first year you can give them to the devil.
This last thing that they do, this is like to wish you good luck for the rest of the year. And if someone is not painted, then the year is not going to be a good year.
Het is iedereen van plezier uit Rusland.
Target dismissed!
Die Zwarte Piet is in die jaren.
In de hele Sinterklaasgeschiedenis is er geen enkel bewijs dat Sint-Nicolaas een slaaf in dienst heeft. Daar is iedereen de mooie verbaasd geworden.
Turned off, then have to start till we hear.
We staan nur böse Leute.
Get back!
Shut up, nigga.
Crazy stuff, huh, guys? Yeah, so they mentioned Swarty Pete, right?
Covering you.
Pete. So that's the hijack again because, you know, they show you St. Nicholas, it's all white, but we already saw the original St. Nicholas also. It's all black man, so it's not about a white man owning a slave. Because the clothes that the so-called Swarty Pete has on, it's actually royal clothes. Swarty Pete, also known in English by the translated name Black Pete, is the companion of St. Nicholas. In the folklore of the Low Countries, the earliest known illustration of the character comes from an 1850 book by Amsterdam school teacher John Amsterdam Dutch, in which he was depicted as a black Moor from Spain, okay? Those portraying the traditional version of Swarty Pete usually put on a black face and colorful Renaissance attire in addition to curly wigs,
Clean as the guillotine!
red lipstick, The character has been increasingly controversial since the early 2010s and increasingly prevalent in municipal holiday celebrations in the years that followed. As of 2021, a revised version dubbed Sooty Pete has become more common than the traditional variant of public events, television special. Alright, so that's real. We're gonna read more about him as we read other books. This here regarding the origins, right? It says the Dutch writer Arnold Jan Scheer has researched European traditions involving Sinterklaas and his assistants. He has published several books about the origin of these traditions and claims the origin of ones with black skin dated back to 1100 BC in Northern Europe, when pagan shamans put on animal skins and painted their faces black with suits to portray mythical creatures of the underworld. I touched the hijackers because they were so-called black. According to John, these rituals evolved finally across Europe and eventually led to the Secret, alright, and Swarty Pete. You know, so they literally, you know, he had these crazy companions and, you know, very scary for children. And if they were naughty, you know, these people, these creatures, they would take them. So they literally painted themselves black, like the second to the right, you know, and with horns, right? That reminds me of something, you know, when I see people that are swarthy, right, with horns on their fur. That reminds me almost of American Indians. Alright, talk about black face with fur on and horns, right? With fur on and horns. Could it be related? You know how they interpret Indians as savages and everything? They could be mocking. You know, these European pagan celebrations could be mocking something they had known about in ancient America.
Reloading!
Alright, you see, this is something the Indians did over here. There's another one. I just want to show you that, you know, that horn doesn't always necessarily mean evil, alright? Horn doesn't necessarily mean evil. But when it comes to Santa Claus's companions, or St. Nicholas' companions, a lot of those creatures are actually very evil, and some of them are even called the devil. But I want to show you something about horns real quick. I know this may be a subject, just want you to know that it's not always an evil or pagan thing either. You know, just what people are wearing doesn't mean they're worshiping certain things. For example, if you guys don't know, the very first letter of the alphabet A comes from the Aleph. The very first letter of the Hebrew or Semitic languages. Aleph. This is the pictograph. The ancient way it was actually drawn was a bull. Yeah, the Aleph, the A is actually ox. Picture of an ox means strong, power, leader, teach, yoke, thousand, each. Associated with answer, to teach. Alright, ox. That is the horns. Ancient letter Aleph started as a picture of an ox. You see, total Canaanite. This is what we find. These first three right here is what we find all over the Americas. Inscriptions all over the Americas like this. Early Phoenician, what we call Phoenician in Hebrew right here. Pool of Siloam inscription. Early Aramaic. Actually, this one too. All these are found here. Then you get, you know, the Jewish added with it. The Dead Sea Scrolls, modern Hebrew. Alright, but that became the A, the Latin form of A. That's where it comes from, the ox, the horns. So, horns, alright, is not always an evil thing, especially when you see your ancestors wearing it. Sometimes they're just remembering something. Alright, power, right? Leadership, to teach, strong. Leadership. Alright, so I hope you guys are following along so far. Just trying to keep it moving, you know, a lot of information. So we go back to the History Channel website. Again, I want to show you guys something that I found in here. They have a little gallery here, right, of Christmas stuff, right? Of course, this is Thomas Last Time. In Harper's Weekly, I have the original. This is Harper's Weekly, right here from 1863, volume 7, a Journal of Civilization, right? And this is one of the very first depictions of Santa Claus in America, as you guys can see. Right? He got the Star-Spangled outfit on. Really close up on him real quick. You see? That's Santa Claus. One thing I noticed, and somebody say, well, that's the shadows and stuff, with the phenotype and everything. That looks like a so-called black man to me. Even though his hands are looking light, they could have done that on purpose. And I know they might say that's the shadow. They might be trying to be subliminal here. Okay, I just wanted you guys to see that Santa Claus originally, I'll show you guys, and was actually being used to promote the Union. It says here in the Smithsonian Magazine, a Civil War cartoonist created the modern image of Santa Claus as Union propaganda. Thomas Nast, the German Palatine, so-called black man, is a legendary for his political cartoons, alright? And here it is again, we just saw the original, as you guys can see. You could call it the face that launched 1,000 Christmas letters, appearing on January 3rd, 1863 in the illustrated magazine Harper's Weekly. Two images cemented the nation's obsession with a jolly old elf, the wild man. The first drawing shows Santa distributing presents in a Union Army camp so-called black man here, or he is being painted with black paints. Swarthy, depicted as a so-called black man. You guys see that? Close up some more. Alright. You guys can see there's a so-called black man right here between all of these people. Alright, so a couple people there in the crowd. It's a lot of people here, right? A lot of people here in this parade. 1924. You guys can see clearly distinguished people that are gonna go up the float. Alright, you see the women right here. They're going to Santa Claus. You guys see what I'm talking about? Alright, you guys see that? He's dark skinned, so-called black man. Alright, Saint Nick. Corresponding with what Saint Nick looks like. Alright, look at that. He's a swarthy man. So if this is a so-called white man, why did he paint his face dark? To portray Santa Claus as a so-called black man. Remember, this is Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, 1924. I wasn't expecting to find something like this, guys. Look at it. Like, wow. I was just like, is that really what I'm seeing? These are colorized versions. They're not the best because they made all the dark stuff like purplish and blue. But I'm assuming, so you guys can see, clearly distinguish people's complexion, right? These are very light-skinned people, pale-skinned people. And you go up to Santa Claus, he's a swarthy man. All right, you got to be careful with this purplish because we saw the black and white picture. He was dark. There's a huge difference between like this lady and Santa Claus when it comes to their hue or complexion. Do you guys see the difference? All right. Even with the purple tint that the colorization did on Santa Claus' face, you can still see he's a dark complexion person, even possibly a Negro man that was actually portraying Santa Claus in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, 1924. So again, I thought that was very interesting, what they're showing you here. All right, you guys can see it. I'm not making this up. You guys see. Yeah, they drew them like this, right?
Do you own a car that's a two?
Just want to read something here. This book is called Christmas, A Candid History by Bruce David Forbes. I'm going to go to chapter 1 of this book. It's called First There Was Winter. It says here, surviving winter. To understand what Christmas has become, first we should consider winter. For the moment, set aside everything you have heard about the baby Jesus in a manger and shepherds and wise men, and think instead about winter. Of course, the characteristics of winter vary with location because depending upon where you live, winter is more a dramatic reality for some people than for others. I assume that most readers of this book are North American, and thus I will emphasize the Northern Hemisphere. But an emphasis on the Northern Hemisphere also reflects the early and medieval history of Christianity. The Christian Church was born in the Mediterranean region, but within a few centuries, its headquarters became centered in Rome and Constantinople, a northward shift from its Jerusalem beginnings. Then Christianity began to spread throughout Europe, and the further north it moved, the more winter became a factor. So what is winter like? The answer is not difficult. Basically, it is cold and it is dark. The further north you move, the rain turns to sleet and snow, and the temperatures drop low enough to discourage much of the outdoor work and play that human beings enjoy the rest of the year. And the days are shorter, with so many more hours of darkness. Continuing a bit further ahead, it says, even before studying the history and anthropology of certain cultures, we could guess what human beings might do to cope with the reality of winter. A great idea would be to organize a big blowout midwinter party. It would be perfect. People would have something to look forward to for the first half of winter. The preparations would be a welcome distraction, and the party itself would be a blast. Then, once it was over, the remainder of winter would be that much shorter, until spring finally brought liberation from the cold and darkness. Now he says all this is not just speculation. This kind of midwinter celebration is indeed what human beings did throughout Europe and many different cultures before Christianity, and we will look at two specific examples in a moment. Mulling over the common sense view of midwinter celebrations, as sketched out here, many persons Christians today are surprised to realize that much of what they love about the Christmas season is not really Christmas at all. We love the lights, the evergreen decorations, the music and the food, the chance to get together with family and friends, and the special feeling of warmth that comes with the festivities. Yet all of these features have no necessary connection with a story of a baby Jesus in a manger. Jesus! Instead, they are the predictable characteristics of midwinter festivities, alright? A lot of these go back to pagan festivities. This is what it means when some people say that Christmas has pagan roots. In essence, pagan is a word that means non-Christian, or in this case, pre-Christian. So he goes on about the winter festivities. Right here, two examples. Shout out to Drop. He brought out a great video about Christmas, showing the Saturnalia part of Christmas, right? Saturday, Saturnalia Day, huh? It says here Saturnalia Jewel. Are the Saturnalia of ancient Rome and Jewel, or Jewel in Northern Europe. Both illustrate the common features that we speculated would be part of winter parties, and both influenced Christmas when Christianity spread into Europe. Saturnalia began in Rome at least 200 years before the lifetime of Jesus, right? So the day of Saturn, December 25th, this was celebrated in ancient Rome. This was a pagan day, a pagan holiday, apparently arising out of some kind of agricultural harvest festival. Theories vary about the origins of the Roman god Saturn, but by the era of Christianity, he was viewed as an agricultural god who, in an earlier golden age, had established a village on the Capitoline Hill, one of the 7 hills of Rome. Legend said that he had taught people how to till the soil and had presided over an era of prosperity, peace, and happiness. Alright, this is just like Osiris, till the soil, and even the deity Dogon, which is Dagon, which is grain, which is corn, really. It's all the same story. Every December 17th, a sacrifice was offered to Saturn in the Roman Forum, right? Sacrifices. But what mattered most to the general public was the feasting and partying that followed, varying from 3 to 7 days, right? Being married, the partying, getting drunk until December 23rd. Hence, Saturnalia is sometimes a singular term, referring to the overall celebration, or a plural term, referring to the several days. In other words, of the Oxford Classical Dictionary, the Saturnalia were the merriest festival of the year, the best of days, according to Oxford Classical Dictionary. I dodged a hijack. No one worked during this period, except those whose help was needed to provide food for the lavish feast. Friends visited each other from home to home and also joined in boisterous street processions. Houses, great halls, and streets were decorated with laurel, green trees, and shrubs, alright? This is ancient Rome. Listen to this. Illuminated by candles and lamps. Major bonfires were lit at high ground, where many citizens could see them. People exchanged small gifts, such as wax candles, wax fruit, and clay dolls. The two major themes of the idealized Saturnalian Golden Age were abundance and equality. In this era of joy and plenty, people lived together in harmony and shared equally in the earth's bounty. In real life, people of Rome were treated very differently, depending on whether they were part of the nobility or artisans or slaves. But in the few days of the annual Saturnalia celebration, everyone was to be treated equally. Lucian of Samosata, a Greek commentator on Roman culture and society, wrote a dialogue between Saturn, also called Kronos, and his priests, and the conversation included rules of the Saturnalia. During the celebration, Saturn proclaimed, "Let every man be treated equal, slave and freeman, poor and rich," and also directed that no one may be ill-tempered or cross or threaten anybody. When it came to banquets, the guidelines included, each man shall take the couch when he happens to be. Rank, family, or wealth shall have little influence on privileges, that is, on a man's place at table. All shall drink the same wine, and neither stomach trouble nor headache shall give the rich man an excuse for being the only one to drink the better quality. All shall have their meat on equal terms. The waiter shall not show favor to anyone. Neither are large portions to be placed before one and tiny ones before another. nor a ham for one if a pig's jaw for another. All must be treated equally, alright? Everybody can have some swine. When a rich man gives a banquet to his servants, his friends shall aid him, waiting on them. So we continue a little bit ahead. It says, already the Saturnalia gained a reputation for wanton behavior, with excessive drinking, gambling, and other unrestrained activities. Alright, I'm not telling you everything there. It gets pretty bad. To drink and be drunk. Alright, be merry, just like we read earlier. Shout, play games and dice, appointing masters of the rebels, feast the servants, they stark naked, clap and shake, and sometimes even get pushed head first into cold water with my face smeared with soap. There he is, the behavior of the crowds, not himself alone. If you look up Saturnalia in an English dictionary today, one of the definitions would be something like an unrestrained, often licentious, outrageous orgy. Alright, you hear that? This is what's going on in Saturnalia, guys. December 23rd, ancient Rome. And sacrifices, along with your drinking and being merry, associated with excess and extravagance. Thus, the Roman Saturnalia serves as the first example of winter festival that existed prior to Christianity, and it fits many of our general expectations: light from candles and fires, greenery, feasting, gifts, and social gatherings, all in mid-December. In addition, the Saturnalia included customs of social